Tonight's broadcast is about to begin. Thank you for joining us on Cedar Creek Media.
This is JD Byrd. You are listening to Maybank Sports here on Cedar Creek Media.
It's showtime!
And hello, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Henderson Cavalry FC Soccer right here on the Cedar Creek Media channel. We are happy to have you here with us today as we have got the good guys looking to get back in the W column as they host the Midcities FC. So, of course, JD, last time we were here, unfortunately, we were not able to come away with the victory over Allegiance Academy. Hard-fought game, a good game here, really a lot of fun to watch, but unfortunately just fall on the losing side of that. But, again, got a chance to take some revenge here today. We'll show you the standings, set this up just a little bit more on the other side. But before that, let's go ahead and take us a short break before we get the starting announcements right after this.
Barks Environmental Services, located on 405 West Mason Street, provides customer service-driven experience that counts. They offer erosion control services such as rock filter dams and retaining walls, soil stabilization services like hydro seeding and sodding, as well as construction services such as land clearing and subdivision maintenance. Call Parks Environmental Services, the erosion control specialist, at 214-693-8056. And for any forestry mulching needs, call Right-of-Way Land Clearing at the same number. Again, that's 214-693-8056. Parks Environmental Services, putting it down to protect your ground.
Kylie with Double K Photography will help you never forget all those special occasions, wedding and maternity photos, as well as family and senior portraits, just to name a few. With over 5 years of professional experience, Kylie can transform your wildest dreams into reality with pricing options available to fit every budget. Contact Kylie by email to book today at hello@doubleKphotography.studio or online at www.doubleKphotography.studio, where you can also see samples from Kylie's previous works and client testimonials. Double K Photography, a proud supporter of Maybank Athletics. Tonight's broadcast is about to begin. Thank you for joining us on Cedar Creek.
Now introducing your starting lineup for the Henderson Cavalry. Number 13, Axel Mendoza. Number 2, Kevin Alvarado. Number 32, Alan De La Torre. Number 5, Jack Torres. Number 20, Victor Campa. Number 6, Brian Mata. Number 28, Kevin Rodriguez. Number 29, D'Alessandro Sota. Number 30, Jose Campa. Number 10, Javier Leonor. And number 16, Yael Sandoval.
All right, JD. A little more UPSL Division 1 Texas North Blue interconference action. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and take a look at the standings here in the North Texas Blue. As you see, Dallas Dragons on top of it all. Still have not conceded a game yet. 6-0 there on top of the standings. Allegiance Academy, their one loss coming to those Dallas Dragons, and the Cavalry, as you see, hanging on to third place right there. Their 2 losses against those teams. So 1, 2, 3 is just kind of whoever came out of the division, at least with a few more wins, I guess, would be the way to say that. I was going to say, without a loss, but I guess you can win a division with still losing one. But
yeah,
it really looks like there's actually a game today, I believe, between Allegiance Academy and the Dallas Dragons. So that one could have some real implications there. As you see, Academy actually has the bigger goal differential there. So interesting situation there. But we're ready to go ahead and get this one off and underway today. Looks like the Cavalry going to be starting it off, playing back in the defensive realm. Alvarado kind of kicking it back and forth. Now De La Torre sending it right back up to Alvarado. Going to try that right side. Tried to get it through, but Mid-City is going to be right there in the way. Mid-City so far this year, 2-4. So they're hanging on to that 5th spot. Have scored 9, given up 17. So they have got a -8 goal differential. So we'll have to see if the Cavalry can take advantage of that here today. Again, trying to get back into the win column after winning 4 games in a row. They lost that first game of the year against the Dragons, that aforementioned loss. And then last time we saw them, unfortunately, fallen to Allegiance Academy. Now we've got a good run here already, as we've talked about before in previous games. Whenever the Cavalry get up and running, they usually, it might take a chance or two before they can break through, but if they start getting those breakthrough runs like that, they can put up some real goals real quickly. They've already got a run.
They always feel really comfortable when they're in the opponent's territory. I tell you that much. As long as they're putting pressure on things, then they're having a good time.
That's exactly right. Lenore tried to put a foot into it and send it over towards goal, but doesn't get as much on it as he wanted to. Went out the back of the zone there. So Mid-City's going to kick it off here again. It looks like they're wanting to go deep. They're bringing in the bomb squad lefty here, it looks like. And he is going to send one way down. And, that's one thing we haven't seen a whole lot this year. We've seen a lot of conservative goalie play, putting the ball back into the field. We've seen a lot of throws and such like that from both, not just us, but the other sides as well. So interesting to see what that little wrinkle adds today. So Mid-City's going to play it down in their defensive zone, trying to find somewhere. That was a nice little challenge there. That was Delisandro Soto trying to step up, keep the ball in Mid-City's territory, but is going to end up flying down the sideline and rolling out of bounds there. I think it was right at about that 35, 40. So,
somewhere around that area.
Yeah, so they throw it in from about the 40. Now, of course, those yard markers don't mean really anything here in soccer, those 10, 20, 30, 40 markers, but gives us something to call towards. Yeah, exactly.
That's just for us.
So JD, new man in the goal back there during the homestand here, and it is number 13, Axel Mendoza. So as you saw, he kind of started things off. Ball ended up out of bounds, last touch by Mid-Cities, but haven't got to see him really play yet this year, so we'll see how he does manning the net back there.
Sky's one right here is Mid-City.
And it ends up back there in the defense. It looks like Alvarado is just going to allow it to roll out of bounds, send it over to Mendoza, and we'll just hit the reset button here. So not too deep into this game. Still the feeling out process going on in the 41st minute, so not even a full 4 minutes gone yet. There's a chance of some weather in the area. Seems like every time you look at the weather, it's giving you a different chance. So
Yeah,
we're not going to comment on exactly what it could be. But keep it in mind here. Got the chance to, I say got the chance, I just shot Alex a text message down there on the sidelines and asked him what the weather protocol is. Says they'll just pause the game and come back. So in the event of that, we'll do the same. Pause and come back live whenever they get the game back going. So to be honest with you, we just don't have quite enough stuff for rain delay theater quite yet, you know?
Yeah, right?
So Mid-Cities kind of playing with it about in the midpoint. I'm going to send it back to the defense, now send it back to their goalkeeper. Let him decide where to go with it. So, last time we were out, we saw Allegiance feeling pretty comfortable playing from their own zone. Looks like Mid-Cities isn't too worried about it either. But now, Cavalry going to be able to get a takeaway here. Coming in from the outside, looking for somewhere to go, and looked like he was going to try and cross there. It was Sandoval, had the ball, trying to get it out, as I said, to that outside, and just couldn't quite get it there. Looked like maybe a foot from Mid-Cities tapped it away. Now Mid-Cities going to have it down in Cavalry territory, trying to find somewhere to go. Cavalry suffocating. That is great defense being played there by Kevin Rodriguez. A lot of pressure, able to pressure a couple of different guys at the same time, really. The ball ends up out of bounds, I think last touched by him. So Mid-Cities will have a throw-in opportunity here. Toss in, gets away from Mid-Cities. Going to be tried to be cleared. I think that was Jack Torres down there. Doesn't get very far, but Cavalry might. Oh, nope. They're going to dig it out. And it's going to be a penalty called, actually. So looked a little scary there for a second for the Cavalry as Mid-Cities kind of dug the ball out and started going towards the zone, but they are going to say illegal contact. So even if he would have scored, it would have been neglected. So right back on the attack here are the Cavalry, trying to get it up past midfield here. Long run down the sidelines. Pass inside to Sandoval, and he gets his legs twisted up. Going to be another contact penalty there against Mid-Cities. Yael looking a little limpy, but up under his own power. And we know anything about the Shark. He's not getting out.
That was a little bit of, got to put the proper show on it, you know?
Yeah.
Really play out that penalty.
All right, so it's going to reset things. Can't quite see who that is over there. Going to be kicking it on in. Could be Campo over there. Kind of looks like him from this far. Now, which one? If it's Victor or Jose, I'm not positive.
It's a different story.
And kind of lost his footing there on the send-in. Oh, nope. Okay, it was Mata. I was way off. Imagine that, me being wrong. I say that about 3 times a game. Well, from where I was, it looked like curly hair, which we know the Campa boys have got that curly hair, but I've never claimed to have 20/20 vision. I'm a lot of things. A perfect vision haver is not one of them.
Those, huh?
No, now here's a little wrestle away by the Cavalry, and it was a pretty good-looking setup there. Soto did a lot of work, but just nobody quite in position to help take advantage of the situation. So going to have to go back, try and figure out an angle. Torres trying to find somewhere, does send it up forward. A lot of contact, nothing called. Lenore now going to shoot it up. That was Mata that had it, tapped it back to Torres. Now Torres challenging, going to send it up. Lenore now going to go back to Mata. Pass got a little far, but I think Brian's going to be able to get to it. He does. Passes it forward. Now Sandoval, one tap back behind. Nice move. Crossing through here are the Cavalry. So that was a nice little set up there to get in position. Now, Soto, they're going to call offsides. D'Alessandro Soto had a run at it, but they said he was just behind the initial or the last two defenders there. So that will be I really don't even know. In soccer, do you even really call it a turnover? Because if you call it turnover, in soccer, that's basically going to happen, 100 times a game.
We'll just call it a change of possession.
Yeah, there we go. Now, here's a big challenge for Mendoza. It was kind of scary there as the ball was just kind of laying around, but he is able to retreat back into the goal. No harm done here. Now, charging from behind, Mid-City's able to take the ball away, send out to the right side, trying to find somewhere to go, get it into their – a lot of contact there, but nothing called. Got to admit, it looked like – I believe that was Campa there. Came in and cleaned up the striker, and no call going to be made.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of a shoulder check there, but
he was just honoring the Stars as they've made it on to the Western Conference Finals now. So he just felt like playing a little hockey out there for a second.
A little bit of sports change real quick.
Ooh, nice little fake over. He's going to be able to get the ball up through, but loses it there. But it was a nice move by Rodriguez to kind of fake out the defense. Unfortunately, again, just doesn't quite work out. Was a whistle as well. Looks like the penalty went against Cavalry. So about to enter the 33rd minute. Still no score here. Weather's still holding off as well, so that's always good. Looks like the crowd today was anticipating weather. Kind of a smaller than normal crowd here, as that is a nice grab by Mendoza. I was going to flick it out, able to get it over to Campa there. Campa going to send back to Lenore. Now just working it around this outside. Pass is going to be sent up. Soto and Sandoval trying to come up and corral it. I believe Sandoval is going to be able to get it. And, excuse me. I said Lenore was down there in that other corner. He was not. He was right there, unable to win that possession. That was Campa back there. I apologize. Ooh. Now the other Campa going to come up, get a penalty. I believe that time that was Jose. Yeah. Jose going to get the whistle there. This will be another restart here for Mid-Cities. Right there on the, say the 27, the hash of the 27-yard line. It's taking a second to get set here. Well, a lot of jockeying for position down there on about the 5-yard line. Still no kick. They're trying to find some open space. Now strike going to be high. Well, I think that was a little far there. Ball ends up rolling almost out to the access road on 175 there. Bounced over a fence and just kept going. So Mendoza spots it here. Just about ready to get us restarted. He's going to send out to the outside for Campa. Campa going to send to his brother. Now to the inside to Lenore. Lenore back out to the outside. Victor just going to have his pocket picked there. The ball does end up out of bounds. Last touch by Mid-City. So it'll be another throw in here as Torres has to run out and grab the ball.
So one thing about the Cavalry is they are very patient with their attacks as well. And they will wait until you make a mistake until they really break out and head down in your position. So
that's exactly right. Now, Again, unfortunately, don't have a roster here from Mid-Cities, but I can tell you right now, that guy, number 29 down there, whatever your name is, young man, you got some wheels. So I haven't seen many people just absolutely catch up to Alan De La Torre like that, and he just chased him down. Ball ends up outside again. They're going to say last touch by Mid-City, so Cavalry with the throw in here. Alvarado tosses in, tries to get to Sandoval. Sandoval will win the ball. Sends over. Lenore has a lot of space. Sends to Campa over on the sideline. Campa trying to find somewhere to go with it. Going to advance the ball. Cuts back towards the inside. Steps around a pile of bodies. And the man on the ground ends up somehow getting a piece of the ball. But he does look like he is in some pain here. Looked like he was down on the ground before anybody really even got around him, kind of a non-contact thing. Then when he stood back up, immediately went back down. So let's see what we've got here. Looks like might have been
He's
a bit of a ruse.
Looks like he's holding on his arm. I wonder if maybe he might have tripped and somebody might have came over and accidentally stepped on him. I'm not sure.
Always a possibility, and we can tell you from experience, getting stepped on with cleats ain't fun.
No, it is not.
I've had many a little hexagonal bruise on my feet and ankles from, those spikes down there.
Well, I tell you what, soccer cleats are even a little bit different than the football cleats.
Yeah, they got those real hard, yeah.
Little pegs on them that just really don't feel great.
No, they don't. About the only thing other that I could say you might, prefer a soccer cleat over is maybe like a true baseball spike, like metal baseball spike. But
yeah,
other than that, no.
Tell you what you definitely never want to get spiked by would be a track spike.
Yeah. That's a good call. Yeah,
that's an actual weapon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those are actual weapons that you wear on your feet.
Well, there was another offsides penalty during our little discussion on cleats. So Mid-City's going to be controlling from about their midfield area. A lot of contact here, but somehow able to come up and win the ball there. I believe that was Lenore. Beautifully played. Yeah, that was him. Very nicely done. Now, kind of a weak shot on goal. Mendoza on that first grab almost lost it, but able to corral it back. But, yeesh. Might be time to put a little more spider tack on that bad boy.
That's right.
What's up, Bubba?
Good. Hey, just a question.
Yeah.
Do you know if they have any Wi-Fi here?
They do have Wi-Fi here. I'm just not positive I have got the password still. I know I had it somewhere. Let me see. Here, JD, do you mind taking over for 1 second, sir?
I will see what I can do here as they send it on back there. Now over to De La Torre. I'm going to head into the middle of the field right there. Send it back once again. Tell you what, this whole video and talking thing, that is a bit different for me, as I am not as familiar with the names as I don't call them all that often. So apologize with you. They're at about midfield now. A little fight for possession. It looks like it's going to head out. Cavalry going to keep it as they send it back once again to try to reset things here. Going to go into the middle right there with Lenore. Lenore going to go up to Sandoval. Sandoval about now back to Lenore. And looks like we got another whistle and another man down over there from Mid-Cities. Looks like he's got something going on with his leg. doesn't seem to be showing any signs of getting up at the moment. Going to give everybody a quick second to catch a breather, as we still got about 25-50 left to go here in the first half. Now finally going to get to his feet. Looks like we will be able to resume play here. And it looks like it might be just going to resume from where they had left off there. So I'm going to send it all the way back now to Mendoza. Mendoza's going to kick it up. Now they're going to go over to De La Torre, as he is going to look for somewhere to go. Just sends it right back over to Mendoza, and I will give it now back to Taylor to let him take back over.
Well, so I appreciate you doing it. No, it's of course that's one of the cool things about the Cavalry is that no matter what kind of language well, I guess I shouldn't say no matter what kind of language, but we've got bilingual broadcast going on. You've got Spanish broadcast going on, and that's who I was just helping out there a little bit. Apologize, but yeah. So if anybody out there is you prefer your broadcast in Espanol, or let's just be honest, somebody that knows a little bit more of what they're talking about,
For sure.
Our buddy Jorge over there at El Show de la Georgia. He has got the coverage as well. Again, that in Spanish. So, but then again, as I'm looking, my goodness, he's got 18,000 followers on his Facebook page. So he probably doesn't need us and our 400 telling him too much about him. But real cool dude, like old Jorge. He's a good dude. So a lot of contact down there in the end zone. Got a couple of guys chirping at each other, and that is a matchup we've seen a bit here already tonight. That's Delisandro Soto and number 14. That is the young man that was kind of chirping and down and all that kind of stuff earlier. So we've definitely seen the gamesmanship here between these two teams. All right, so back to get it started again here. Another big boot here by Mid-Cities. Now it's going to still be up in the air. Nobody's going to be able to claim it until Rodriguez able to come up and pick it up. Now Torres going to slow things down all the way down into the 23rd minute here, so just about halfway through this first half. Still no score. Torres not quite able to get up in front, and Sandoval now going to be called for a penalty. They're going to say he caught the back of the heels there of the Mid-Cities player. So another whistle, another free kick coming up here. Got a few sprinkles starting to come down now. You can't really see it somehow. Of course, we film inside of a window, so if it starts getting too crazy, I'll have to get my big butt out there and start wiping down that window for you. Play windshield wiper. Not too terribly bad yet. Have crossed over that halfway point now here in the first half. And Mid-City's going to toss into the corner. Sea of red over there, but it ends up being kicked out of bounds. I believe that was Alvarado trying to control it. Ends up sending it out of bounds. It's going to be a throw in from right about the same spot. Another toss in, this time going to be more towards the middle of the field. Crossed over, but the Cavalry able to sniff it out pretty easily. That was Victor Campa in the right spot at the right time. Now Torres going to bring it down the sideline. Kind of working with the two-man game. Lenore down there with him. But ball ends up out of bounds. Now thrown in. Sandoval almost able to gain control there between a couple of different black jerseys. But it does end up back into the hands, or I guess I should say feet, of the Mid-Cities. Ball just kind of loose in the middle of the field there for a minute. Now going to be able to get it out here to the outside. Now to the inside. A lot of contact. Soto. And there is going to be a whistle. So Soto was running through hand grabs and stiff legs and all kinds of stuff. Do eventually get the call, so Lenore, it looks like, going to be setting it off here again. Or no, maybe it's Mata going to be kicking it from a little deeper here.
Looks like Lenore here, maybe.
It is going to be Lenore. Oh, gets into the inside, into the goal. And
Oh, man.
Fight going to be had, and ball still inbounds. Oh, it's going to be last touched by Mid-City, so that should be. Oh, no, yeah, because it didn't go over the back line. Nice move by Sandoval trying to get through, and just unfortunately a sea of black jerseys there to end the call. Or the chance, not the call, excuse me. It's now De La Torre with it. Pokes forward. Sandoval trying to find some space. Gets to the left. Now, again, just trying to dribble through traffic. There's too many bodies there, but it is going to be a whistle. So going to be another free kick here. Let's see who steps up to take it this time. They had Mata and Lenore in the zone last time. Lenore just kind of with the soft kick. Looks like Soto is also kind of hanging around in the area. Does look like Mata is giving some instruction to Lenore, so it looks like Lenore is going to be the one that. Nope, it's going to be Soto. And Soto tries to bend it in towards the goal. Shot goes wide right, well right at that.
A little too much bend on that one.
State trooper down there getting the ball, sending a strike in. How about that? He can protect you or give you a nice little assist there. But they do, okay, so I guess I didn't see that. Actually does make contact with the Mid-Cities player, so it was a corner kick there. Now Alvarado going to have a good shot at it, and just a little too much bend there. Rebound is going to be fought for. Rodriguez trying to fight off a couple of different Mid-Cities defenders there, but unfortunately just not quite able to get to it. Ball ends up all the way back with the goalkeeper, Mendoza. Now he's going to, that was a tricky pass, and yep, that is exactly what happens there. Mendoza tried to squeak it in between a couple of Mid-Cities defenders and then is not able to get back quite in time to make the play as the ball is kicked over his head. So that'll be an easy goal there for Mid-Cities, and they'll take over with a 1-0 lead. While they get reset and get it restarted, we got to take a short break. We'll be right back right after this.
For nearly 30 years, Carrie Harris Satellite has been the Lake area's trusted satellite and internet retailer by putting the customer and their needs first. And we here at Cedar Creek Media can attest to that. I'm JD Byrd with Cedar Creek Media, and we're not just partners, we're customers of Carrie Harris Satellite, and can't recommend him and his friendly team highly enough. Stop by Carrie Harris Satellite in Athens today and ask how they can get you set up with Dish, Spectrum, Starlink, Boost Mobile, and more at 103 La Costa Street in Athens, or call 903-677-9522. Again, that's 903-677-9522.
Jeff Van Horn and his team at Precision Spray Foam want to help you protect your investments and potentially lower your energy bill with a new layer of insulating spray foam for your home, barndominium, or metal building. Why choose Precision Spray Foam? Because they can help deter moisture, improve comfort and air quality, and provide extra strength to your building for years to come, all while being environmentally friendly and cost effective. Jeff and his team make installation a breeze and can retrofit for any need. Call Precision Spray Foam today at 903-880-6323. That's 903-880-6323 for your free estimate today. Precision Spray Foam, part of the Van Horn Construction family and proud supporter of Maybank Athletics. All right, back here to it. As we said, Mid-Cities able to get the first goal in this game. Got a lot of contact over on the sideline here as we're coming back. Does look like there's a whistle. Can't quite tell who it's against. Referees coming together to make the call. And there is going to be a card. So yellow card going to be.
I believe number 29 of Mid-Cities over there.
Okay. I'll choose to believe you. Unfortunately, our crowd noise microphone is just seeming to give us a lot of troubles here tonight, folks. So just going to have to stay in here in the booth with us. I know that's not the greatest audio ever, so we do apologize. But rather have that than it buzzing in your ears, you know. So, all right. So Della Torre going to be starting things back off. He's going to kick it. Let's see if Soto can get over to it. And, just a little too far on that outside, and that is what Soto's saying. Give it to me a little bit more on the inside there, where I don't have to worry so much about the sidelines. So ball ends up out of bounds. Last touch by the Cavalry. Going to be tossed in from right at about, it looks like the 6-yard line there on that outside. Toss goes to this near side. Alvarado doing a good job there. Being a brick wall, ends up with Rodriguez, who gives up to Mata. Mata sends over to Lenore. Lenore, Alvarado there. Tried to get a foot on it. I think it was just a little missed time there. Might have saw it a half a second late.
I think they're saying Mid-Cities also might have got a piece of it and knocked it away.
Maybe that's what it was, okay. Didn't quite see that, but as we've already established in this broadcast, I don't have the greatest vision. So Alvarado tosses it in. Ball high in the air. Fight for it. Mata's right there. Shot. Goes just wide right. It was a good-looking opportunity there. Mata had to wait on the ball for a long time to come down. Had a couple of defenders crashing in on him. Just the combination of factors there. Unfortunately, just not quite able to sink it in.
It's like they're bringing somebody in there to send it to about midfield again.
That's this big left-footed guy here. And he is going to crank it right to about the 40. It was a good effort there. But just not quite able to control it until they do. Here are the Cavalry. And contact. That is, looks like Isaiah Bourillon in there. Didn't quite see when he got substituted in. I apologize, but he is out there now. Now on the outside here is Campa trying to cross inside. Was trying to get to Sandoval, but Mid-City's able to get just enough of a foot on it to deflect the pass out. Alvarado now trying to send it to the middle. Mata had it on the one touch, gets to Soto, and Soto going to be cleaned up from behind, but Rodriguez able to range over and pick up the ball. Here is Campa, now sends it inside. One touch back from Mata, back to the outside. Campa trying to find somewhere to go, and was trying to send it to the spot he thought Mata would be, but Mata just didn't quite get over there in time, I don't believe. So now again, going to have to play from the back line. It's Torres, the farthest back defender, minus the goalie, of course. Had it in control, now coming up down the left side, trying to send it into the inside. And it's just the attack plans are just not quite working out so far for the Cavalry. You can see Sandoval down there working hard, but just hasn't really been able to get a clean touch in front of the goal yet. But if we know anything about Yael, you give him a chance, he'll definitely burn you once or twice or 3 times or 4 times, however many chances you give him, you know?
Even when you don't give him a chance, he still has a chance.
So 11th minute here, creeping up on halftime. We did get word that because of potential weather situations and I guess if we're just being honest, that looks like, again, some folks maybe not as many folks able to make it out today because of that weather situation. There was a raffle for that 50-inch TV. Of course, unfortunately, Raul Flores was hurt in that game against Allegiance Academy. He got a lengthy medical bill. So Cavalry trying to do what they can to help support their guys, so they did that TV raffle. That is actually going to be postponed and put online. So it's not that it's going to be canceled or anything like that. It's just going to be put online now. So keep an eye on the Henderson Cavalry FC Facebook page. Be more details there. And if you're not already following them, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
If you're watching the game and not following them, I mean, come on now. Common sense, folks. All right, now the Cavalry might have a chance here. A little bit of a run. Campa just wasn't quite able to get the ball in the position he wanted. Was a little bit behind and to the side of him. He was trying to put it at the base of his feet there for a little bit stronger attack, but just couldn't quite get it into his spot. Ball does end up out of bounds. They say last touch by Mid-City, so Alvarado tosses in. Kind of backing down there, a lot of contact. Lenore is going to end up on the turf. No call made. So we've seen that a couple of times, one on either side. Now, Boyd's going to have it. Soto, I think he was trying to put a bend on it, get some of that left to right curve, but the ball didn't get the message and just kept going straight and ends up well out of bounds. Looks like we do have a player down. Got a teammate helping stretch him out, so with all that humidity out there, good possibility it looks like it could be a cramp.
Little cramps.
Somebody break out the bananas and pickle juice.
That's right.
So he's able to get up, walk around on his own power. Doesn't even look like they're going to bring a substitution. Nope. Man goes back down to the bench. And we'll get going like it never even happened. So 8th minute here. Again, drawn closer here to halftime. Mid-Cities setting the dominoes here. Again, going to be a big strike out past midfield. Rodriguez with the bump there is, he is going to get the call. Or no, excuse me. I was going to say it was a pretty good defensive look there for Rodriguez. I thought they called the call on him, but they do not. Something I didn't see there by Mid-Cities. So Cavalry will start us back up here again. Going to be De La Torre. He's going to send it way up in the air. Campa gets up in the air, gets it to Soto. Soto got a chance, trying to find some. Oh, they're going to say offsides. Oh, man. So Soto was just kind of lurking in the area, but again, they're going to say he was behind the defense. So it will be an offsides penalty. And the Cavalry going to have to pick it up a little bit here. It's not the most crisp half we've seen from the Cavalry so far this year.
Definitely not. I mean, we've seen them play from behind quite often, but as far as the amount of offense that they're really getting going, and solid offense, that is, not quite what we're used to seeing from them.
Yeah, it seemed like most of their attacks are kind of dying at that 20-yard line, where we've seen them get, more into the, for the lack of a better term, I guess you could say, like I guess it is the goalie box. So usually whenever they're in that right front of that goalie box, man, they are just as dangerous as anybody, but haven't seen a lot of long goals from them this year, so hanging out on that 20-yard line is not exactly ideal territory, at least in my personal opinion. So toss is going to get all the way back to Mendoza here. He's waiting to find somewhere to go, and just kind of looked like it might have not done exactly what he was wanting there. Came off the foot a little funny. Fight for it ensues there, and it looks like Mid-Cities is going to win it down in the attack zone. Rodriguez again with De La Soto with good defense. Ends up on the ground, no penalty called. Ball kind of bounces awkwardly there around Bourillon. Kind of some English on it. Wasn't able to get over into it in time. Did you hear that stroke I had? Well, I don't know. Two in time. I don't know what that was. So now Campa pressing on the outside. Ball going to be just lobbed up in the air, and Mendoza loses it. Oh, no. Oh. And just able to avoid disaster there as Mendoza couldn't hold on to the ball. It bounces around. There was a scoring opportunity there for Mid-Cities, and Cavalry's just lucky they squander the chance.
Good help defense right there.
Yeah, you got to pick up your sense of urgency here.
I know that's kind of a different sport, but
yeah, I know you're
that's what
exactly
I'm gonna call
right
it in this instance.
So Mendoza going to set it up. He sends it up high. Sandoval sent it forward, but not quite able to win it outright. But Cavalry do have it. De La Soto working the sideline. Alvarado going to just clear it up front. Lenore tried to chase up. Somehow, ball bounces into Campa. His pass over to Sandoval is going to be stepped in front of. Cavalry going to be able to scoop it back, send it down into the corner, and Lenore just not going to be able to quite run it down, so we'll go back out of the back of the territory there. The back of the pitch.
Back of the pitch.
3 minutes, 40 seconds. There we go. And so I do know the Cavalry had to change their practice schedule this week. They had been practicing on Wednesdays and Saturdays, moved it to Mondays and Fridays. But unfortunately, well, I guess not unfortunately, but there was also something else going on. As I think a lot of these guys play in that indoor league in Athens as well, and there was a tournament going on in Athens. So a lot of these guys were playing with their respective teams in that tournament. As that was a good-looking approach there, as Lenore just couldn't quite get to it in time before the goalkeeper were able to scoop it up. But long story short on that, wasn't able to get a fresh player interview for y'all this week. So for anybody that didn't get to see our interview with Mr. Alex at the owner and head coach of the Cavalry FC last week, going to do a little instant replay on that, because we need that 15-minute break, I'm telling you. We talk a lot during these broadcasts. Soccer, definitely with that 45 minutes straight, can give you what the layman would call dry mouth. So here is Torres with it. Sends over to Alvarado. Alvarado going to try and shoot one up to Campa. Is going to be taken away. And, oh, a lot of contact here.
Nothing called on it either.
No, Alvarado.
Both men just,
yeah.
Wow.
It was a clean slide tackle, but it almost looked like maybe his ankle got hung up in the turf, and that caused both of the players to just kind of collide awkwardly. It looked like Alvarado's elbow might have ended up right squarely in the chest of the Mid-Cities player there, so might have had the wind knocked out of him. Again, it was a clean play, just nasty result. And again, that humidity out there on that artificial turf, you know, that plastic essentially down there, sometimes that give you a little more, you know, grip, I guess you could say. And you're used to drier conditions to where you slide a little bit better. Might have just But as you said, no call because it was all on the ball there. This has been a lengthy injury delay now. Under a minute to go now in this first half. So it looks like whatever is left of this first half is going to be stoppage time. Able to stand up and walk around there is the young man from Mid-Cities. Conversation going on here on the sideline. Referees trying to figure out exactly where they're going to set this. And it looks like they're just going to go into live play, just kind of a drop ball situation. Mata able to win the exchange, gets up to Campa. Campa trying to find somewhere to go with it, tries to send up to Sandoval, but it's going to be poked away. De La Soto. De La Santro Soto, not De La Soto. So I had a run at it, but goalkeeper able to step up in time. Now fight for the ball, and Mata going to get the whistle. He's trying to claim that the Mid-Cities defender went over his back, which he obviously did, but whatever the official saw there, he disagreed. By the way, we are into stoppage time at this point. And again, we don't have any way of knowing exactly what the stoppage time is going to be, but I would assume it'd be a little bit longer with the few injury timeouts we've had here. Now, Mid-Cities had a chance at it, but going to be spoiled here by the Cavalry. It's Mata trying to work it away, and now a whistle going to be called against him again. Too much contact. Going to be another free kick here. Going to be on that right on the 20. Not even just the yard line, but literally the 2 and the 0 right there. And again, half will be ending here momentarily. And again, if you're waiting on that raffle, it will be done online now instead of here in stadium. Kick is off, and it is headed, and I think they're saying it was out of bounds. That's what I was thinking. It looked like the player that headed the ball had his feet planted firmly out of bounds before he made contact with the ball. Mendoza had to make that long run all the way back to the fence now. Creeping back up to the goal here. Let's see if Cavalry can get anything accomplished here with what little time they have remaining in this first half. Mendoza sends it high up towards midfield. Lenore trying to work. And it looks like Sandoval comes out of the pile with it. Soto has it down the sideline. Waiting for his team to catch up, trying to find a cross. Sends it inside to Lenore, and trying to get it there to the outside to Bourillon. Give Bourillon the cross opportunity, but it's going to be kicked out of the back of the pitch.
You're going to have a little corner kick coming up here.
Yes, and this could be your last opportunity here of this first half. Ball set in the corner now. On the way, it's a good kick. Soto, Soto headed it right over. Was that Sandoval?
Yeah, Sandoval just not quite able to get it low enough there.
Yeah, it looked like he kind of made contact with the ball on the way up.
Maybe it was De La Torre there.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly who it was. De La Torre, excuse me. So
both have similar hair.
Exactly.
That's what I was looking at. I couldn't see the back of their jerseys.
Yeah, that's the one thing that people don't, they kind of discount up here is that, yeah, they have numbers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we can see them from up here. You
That's
know what
right.
I mean?
Not always are their backs turned to us.
We can usually see, if it's, American football, we can usually see the linemen's numbers when they're walking around because they're big boys, but these skinny guys, you really can't see too well.
Looks like that is going to be the end of the stoppage time right there. So,
yeah,
to halftime we go.
It is halftime now. Again, Mid-City's able to get the one goal in the first half on kind of a cheeky goal there. We're going to go ahead and take a short break. Then we'll send you to that replay of our interview with Alex, and then we'll come back with the second half all after this here on Cedar Creek Media. Hey, Mom and Dad, what's one of the most overlooked safety features in a car? Everyone checks for seatbelts, turn signals, and airbags, but when's the last time you checked your son or daughter's tire tread? K&S Tires and 7 Points cares about your family's automotive safety and offers a full line of quality tires installed by a team of experts to help give you peace of mind as your loved ones drive to work, school, or run errands around town. Stop by K&S Tire today, just south of the light in 7 Points, and let them help keep your family safe on the roadways all year long. K&S Tires, great tires at wholesale prices.
Golden Chick's new Golden Bowl is so big, it's a whole lot of yes and a whole lot of yum. So if you like big bowls, then we cannot lie. The new loaded mashed potato bowl is a whole lot of Golden Chick, a big bowl you can't deny. Y'all ready for this? Yeah.
All right, Taylor with Cedar Creek Media, getting to hang out with Alex Aguilar, the head coach. And, you've got a bunch of titles, so we'll let you go ahead and put that out there. So, of course, with the Henderson Cavalry, but Alex, kind of tell everybody your role within the Cavalry.
Yeah, so my role, like you said, I wear a lot of hats. I really started wearing all the hats in the beginning, but from owner, coach to admin, sports equipment handler, everything, right? Fortunately, now I've had people come on where, like, my wife's handling the social media, my mom's handling all game day logistics and stuff like that. So now I just focus on, like, the overall vision of the team and scaling the team, growing the team, and then coaching it, of course.
Perfect. So kind of tell us about the vision. You know what I mean? I know you're from Michigan originally, so as you're sitting up in Michigan, you know what I mean? You kind of, or maybe you're not, but anyway, you're sitting there kind of thinking this through. Kind of tell us the process of getting a semi-professional soccer team put together.
Yeah, for sure. So the vision really came about from the love of the game, first and foremost, right? So I played a lot in Michigan. The infrastructure over there is already built, right, from the young amateur teams to the semi-professional teams to even professional teams that are now being developed in that area. And I moved here kind of as I'm a man of faith, so faith called me here, and I'm here now. And when I got here, the first thing I did was like try and figure out what the soccer scene looked like, because I love it so much. And I realized the infrastructure was kind of fragmented, right? So these kids go to high school, and then after high school, if you want to play in college, you have to leave Henderson County, sometimes even East Texas, right? Because the four-year colleges here don't necessarily compete like other four-year colleges. We have great junior colleges, but they're not 4 years, right? So everyone has to leave if you want to continue. And that's really what sparked the vision for this team. It's like, let's build something where these kids can continue at home, because finances are a factor as well, right? So some of these kids they might have the talent, they might not have the finances to live in 2-3 hours away, whether it be Houston, Dallas, or whatever, for an entire year and continue to play the sport that they love. So they fall off, right? And so that's where the vision came from. Like, let's put something together for these kids coming up. They can continue to compete at a very high level, give them exposure at a high level, and they don't have to leave home.
So, and you say kids, and there again, we got some high school guys, you got some college guys, but you got some older guys as well. So kind of tell us about the I guess requirements to be a UPSL player.
Yeah, so you basically just have to try out and make the team, right? So requirements are kind of like your basic stuff, right? Like U.S. citizen and all that type of stuff, right? But there isn't like an age requirement, but as an athlete, there's a range in which you can compete, right? So typically, if you're a fantastic 16-year-old player, you can play, but you're going to be lacking the physicality that some of these older players are going to have, right? If you are in your 30s, you might be an excellent player, but playing 90 minutes against some 20, 22-year-olds is going to be tough, right? So there's a whole range in which you can play, and if you try out for the team and you're good enough, you can play. But the sweet spot is really that college age, right, where the kids have got the experience of playing college ball already, but they're still young enough where they can run 90 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So it's really, age range is wide, but obviously with age comes certain advantages or disadvantages depending on which spectrum you're on.
Hey, age comes knowledge, but comes weak knees too. You know what I mean?
100%.
And man, I hope this isn't a terrible transition, but from what I understand, you were a pretty good player back in your day as well, but unfortunately had some things go wrong with your health and everything. Well, not health, but had some injuries and stuff like that. So kind of tell us, I mean, again, unfortunately, we're not going to get to see you out on the pitch. So you just going to have to tell us. So kind of tell us about the player that Alex Aguilar was.
Yeah. So, man, I was injury prone late in my career. So scaling up, whether it was, in the amateurs up until college, I was pretty good with injuries, right? If I had tweaks here, it was like a week or two and then I was back on.
Sure.
But in college, I did start having some major issues with my knees, and that put me out essentially, and then that wrapped that up. But in terms of a player, I mean, once you play college, everyone can play,
Sure.
right? So what differentiated me was the mindset, right? So I didn't really care who I was playing. You were human just like me. We go to the bathroom the same way. We put on our socks the same way. Like, you're no different than me, and I'm going to treat you as such, right? So that was really what I brought to many of my teams, was that I'm not backing down to nobody. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you've played. I don't care if you have more experience than me, if you don't. Like, we're going to go at it for 90 minutes, and whatever happens, happens. So that was the mentality that I had. That is the mentality that I'm trying to bring to this team, and that's particularly difficult because we have players from all different ranges, right? We have players that are 22 years old that are very talented, but they've been out of the competitive mindset for 2-3 years because there was nothing before Henderson Cavalry, right? So reeling them back into that mindset of like, hey, let's go. Every game starts at 100%.
All right, so the good thing, like as you said, is that there's really nothing else like what the Henderson Cavalry are doing in East Texas. So you've had kind of a wide net to be able to cast. You've got guys from Jacksonville, Tyler, Palestine, Athens, Maybank, kind of all around, plus some from out of state. So how do you kind of narrow down your search and cast that net in to be able to find those guys?
Yeah, so it started really just showing up at, like, everything has a scene, right? There's a car scene, there's the football scene, the baseball scene, right? And it was just showing up at these scenes, quote unquote, right? Where there's the futsal tournaments and all these other things. And it, honestly, because I'm not from here, I didn't have any prior connections.
Sure.
So everything was meeting people for the first time and kind of pitching them this idea, right? So it sounded absolutely crazy to a lot of people, a lot of players, really. But that's how it started. Like, I'd go to a tournament, I'd see a player that I really liked, be like, hey, would you be interested in this? Give me your phone number, give me your contact, X, Y, and Z, right? And through there, I think it just became like, okay, let me post it on social media. We're building this team. Communicate with the small amount of people that I know, whether it be from the church that I connected with when I moved here and things like that. But I can tell you that from the players that I recruited, not all of them made it, right? Because then new players came in through the tryouts that I had never seen. And even post tryouts, more players started finding out about it, right? Because
I mean, you tried out over 100 players. Am I wrong on that?
No, that is 100%. And what's cool is that the first tryout series was like 60 players.
Okay.
But once those players came out to try out and certain players made it, and then you post about it, other players are like, hey, I know that guy, right? I know that player. I played with him in XYZ, right? Let me reach out to him and see if there's space on the team and things like that. So then you start bringing in all these other, like the last 40 players, they came in when we were already practicing as a team. They came in as in like, give me a week trial, and we'd bring them in. And a lot of them wouldn't make it, but we would find gems.
Sure.
And we're hitting our back end of the season, and we are about to bring on a player that just came on the team, and it's one of those gems that we just happen to find that found out about the team and wants to join now. Joining late, but it's a gem you can't pass up, right? And the goal is to continue to improve the game. So it really started just talking to people, and it's grown to now our social media's gotten some sort of traction where players are finding out about it. Our players now share their stuff when they're man of the match and things like that. So now it's really, okay, other players are finding interest rather than me having to go get that interest. So it's a nice flip.
Yeah, and that's great, man. So tell us a little bit about the future. I mean, I guess that's kind of a loaded question. There's a lot of things that could be in the future. There is a relegation system in the UPSL. There is chances for growth. So what do we need to do throughout this season to continue to grow this thing to the next level?
Yeah, you mentioned it. We're playing a really tough team today, and it's really a must-win, right? It's a season-defining match, and if it doesn't go our way, we 100% will still make playoffs. There's no doubt in my mind about that. I guess looking at growth, the first step is let's make this first season the best season possible. Let's make playoffs. Let's get as far as we can. I believe we can get promoted to the Premier Division. I wholeheartedly believe that. We just have to show up to games. And as I mentioned earlier, the mentality part is the one we need to work on. But that's step one. Step one is having a great season. And goal number one for the Cavalry is get to Premier. Once we get to Premier, then the world really opens up. And then from there, you're talking about players, like if they're getting exposure now, the exposure they're going to get at Premier is even greater. And ultimately, that's the goal, is get eyes on these young players that are talented, and let's get them like these professional contracts. Let's send them. Hey, if you're not part of the Cavalry in 2 years, I want that to be because we sent you somewhere. Right? I want and come back and bring that knowledge to East Texas, right? Yeah. Like that's the point. Send these players out there, play professionally. If you ask me what's the goal for 5-10 years out, I want to be a fully professional team. Like that's a crazy idea, right? But I want paid players. I want a professional team. I want the infrastructure to kind of piggyback off of what we're doing, right? And show that, okay, these young players, there is a path. Let's build the middle ground, right? Because we've built the semi-professional piece, but there's still a little gap, right, from the club teams to get to us, right? So in terms of vision and the future, there's a lot of moving pieces to it, and that's what's so exciting. And I think that's why people are slowly starting to, not just players, but like sponsors and things like that, are wanting to be more a part of it, because they're so, like, I think people are seeing the potential that this could have for the sport. And ultimately, we're just another tool being used to grow the sport, and we want to partner with as many people as possible to make that vision a reality.
Perfect. All right. Well, Alex, you're a busy man, so we'll get you out of here on this one. But as for the game day experience on the fan side of things, so if I'm somebody that's never been to a Henderson Cavalry game before, I'm thinking about bringing my family on. What I'm watching here on YouTube, but maybe want to make it to a game here in a couple of weeks. So tell us about the game day atmosphere, the experience that people can expect at a Henderson Cavalry game.
Yeah, I can tell you, if you've been to any other sports game, whether it be hockey, basketball, baseball, you know it's different in person than it is watching, right? So, like, from being respectful, but yelling at the refs when you don't like a call, right? Or somebody committing a foul or whatever it may be, like that's part of the game day experience. And so it's awesome to be there. The players love people being there. They feed off of that energy just like any other player would. So yeah, come out, support. We want to get people to start loving this club and start supporting it, start following it, right? Follow us on social media, Henderson Cavalry, Facebook and Instagram, and like you'll stay in touch with all of our games, all of our away games. But yeah, the game day experience is amazing. Be there, please support us. Again, the players need that energy, especially in these decisive games, especially going into playoffs. That stuff is critical. To have a corner in your back that's just rooting for you is critical for players. So,
and I lied to you. I said we were going to get you out on that one, but I got one more thing that just popped in my brain that I got to make sure that I mentioned. So, of course, you are the front-facing man of the Henderson Cavalry, but you got two really strong ladies back behind you, backing you. So, again, you talked about how your wife's a social media manager, your mom's kind of logistics, you know what I mean? But what has it meant for you to have your family to be able to back you in this situation?
Yeah, so this isn't my first rodeo at entrepreneurship, right? So I do have a marketing business and some other projects that I work on. And it's hard building anything by yourself, right? So I'm willing to say it's impossible. You can't do it, especially something that impacts people. So knowing that, hey, I'm going into battle with people behind me, especially loved ones, we'll figure it out. We'll get through anything, right? So today doesn't go our way. I'm not the only one that's down. The players aren't the only ones that's down. I got people that are going to pick me up and be like, all right, the season's not over. Let's keep going, right? So sleepless nights are a thing. There's so many things that happen in the background that people don't see, right? And managing people is difficult, right? And thank God that my mom is a master at managing people. And I've outsourced the managing of volunteers and everything that has to do with logistics to her, because she's amazing at that. And it's made my job so much easier, because then I can just focus on the team, right? Early on, when I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this, there was no way I was going to be an effective coach and also provide a good game day experience where logistically things were going to make sense.
Sure.
Something was going to go wrong, right? So having her handle that has been amazing. I'm super grateful, but like, we need volunteers too, right? Because she needs help on her side and all that sorts of stuff. So like, my wife also helps on game day experience, apart from like the social media piece. She's also under my mom and, you know, handling some of like the ticket booth and all that stuff that happens. So we definitely would love some volunteers. If you go to a game, take a ton of pictures, post them, tags. That's part of the social media experience, is other people interacting with the team and taking pictures and tagging us in it. So you are all volunteers if you are taking pictures and tagging us, and we are eternally grateful for all that stuff.
Perfect. Well, Alex, again, we appreciate you for your time, and I guess let's get ready for a good second half here.
Let's go. Thank you.
Barks Environmental Services, located on 405 West Mason Street, provides customer service-driven experience that counts. They offer erosion control services such as rock filter dams and retaining walls, soil stabilization services like hydro seeding and sodding, as well as construction services such as land clearing and subdivision maintenance. Call Parks Environmental Services, the erosion control specialist, at 214-693-8056. And for any forestry mulching needs, call Right-of-Way Land Clearing at the same number. Again, that's 214-693-8056. Parks Environmental Services, putting it down to protect your ground.
Kylie with Double K Photography will help you never forget all those special occasions, wedding and maternity photos, as well as family and senior portraits, just to name a few. With over 5 years of professional experience, Kylie can transform your wildest dreams into reality with pricing options available to fit every budget. Contact Kylie by email to book today at hello@doubleKphotography.studio or online at www.doubleKphotography.studio, where you can also see samples from Kylie's previous works and client testimonials. Double K Photography, a proud supporter of Maybank Athletics. All right, back to it here. Taylor Honea,
JD Byrd.
Cedar Creek Media, hanging out here in the press box, ready to get the second half underway. Mid-City is able to get that cheeky little goal there in the first half, and that is the differential right now, 1-0. Mid-Cities. Again, in case you weren't here earlier, let's go ahead and bring up those UPSL standings. Mid-City's looking for their third win of the year, while the Cavalry trying to avoid their third loss of the season. It would be the first consecutive back-to-back losses as well for the Cavalry. So, yep, I always forget. We're going the other way whenever we come back in. So we do got a couple of different guys out there. Looks like you've got number 7, Kevin Sanchez out there. Isaiah Bourillon also staying out on the pitch. Can't quite tell, to be honest with you, off the top of my head, who Kevin came in to replace. Also got Pedro Elizade out there. I see. So it looks like maybe, I want to say maybe it's Mata that's off. And not seeing Soto down there either. I believe those are your two that came off in exchange. Yeah. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to say it more confidently here. So they, Pedro Elizalde and Kevin Sanchez come in to replace, who did I say, D'Alessandro Soto and Brian Mata here in the second half. Mid-Cities with that long toss in. I thought I fixed the wireless mic. I guess not. It's still creakling and popping. Now Mid-City's going to have a run at it, and a lot of contact there by De La Torre, and he is going to be whistled. There's a conversation going on. I think Mid-Cities is wanting a penalty kick. Looks like it will fall on deaf ears, though, and it will be just a free kick. Start us back off again. Rain still gently falling out there. I don't know if you can really tell on your screen there, but it is just ever so lightly falling out there. Got a bunch of umbrellas and such out there in the stands. All right, so back to it. Mendoza able to slide in, keep the goal from going in. It looked like it might have been just a little wide left regardless. Does go off the back of the field, so it'll be a corner kick here for Mid-City. So going to have a second opportunity to try and set up some offense here. The rain seems like it might have just picked up ever so slightly. Went from a gentle mist to a light sprinkle. Header, oh, and the goal is going to sneak in on the side there. Ball was dangerous, bouncing around there for a little while. I think Mendoza thought he was going to be able to slide in and grab the ball and end the scoring chance, but somebody tipped the ball up in the air, kept it bouncing around, and Mid-City is going to have their second easy goal here tonight. And the deficit just doubled here for the Cavalry. So they're now down 2-0. They're going to have to start pushing here. Still got 40 minutes to work with, but got to start chipping back on those goals here pretty quick as Pedro Elizalde going to look for somewhere to go. Kick it over to Borjan here on the near side. Borjan going to send it up to a streaking Lenore. Lenore lost his footing, but the ball still ends up somehow squirting around. They're going to say no goal, but there is a penalty. Discussion going on here about it. And goal is going to be disallowed. So it looked like Cavalry were going to get their own cheeky little score there.
So yeah, it looks like null and void on the goal, but
Do have
are going to
penalty
get a
kick.
penalty kick here.
Setting up here.
Mr. Javier Lenore.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I believe that's Lenore. So chop and sends into the back of the net. So that'll cut the deficit in half, and that is a quick scoring strike there by the Cavalry.
That's a good answer.
We like it. So Javier Lenore with the left foot there, able to bury one in the bottom left corner. The old bottom 90, as they would say. And it looks like they're going to be re-energized. Lenore and Sanchez both coming down, trying to attack there. And Lenore, you can just see the extra pep in his step now after the score. Sandoval going to come in, win it, sends it over. Now Elizade with the run, trying to find somewhere to go, taps over to Sanchez on the outside. Sanchez goes back to the inside, now sends in to Sandoval. Sandoval with the touch and sends it in, and almost snuck away from the goalie there. Looked like the goalie didn't get his hand down quite far enough, so the ball's still able to keep trickling underneath, but gets just enough of a touch on it to send it outside. But importantly, does go out of the back of the pitch, so it is going to be a corner kick here. Cavalry just going to do a little quick kick. Rodriguez trying to find somewhere, gives over to Campa, and Campa's header just a little offline to the right. So Jose Campa had a decent shot at it there, but just not quite able to get enough power on it. But that's exactly what we talk about, JD. You give the Cavalry kind of that energetic moment, and they are able to capitalize most times.
Absolutely, and we're kind of seeing what we had said at the very beginning of the game. They like to be on the offensive side of things. They kind of got away from them there in the second half of the first. But right here to open up the second, they are going right back to where they feel the most comfortable, and that is putting pressure on that goal.
Let's see if they can continue to do it. This ball is down in that goal area right now. Getting ready for that young man with the big left foot to send it on down. We've seen him consistently kicking it to about the other 40. Again, a little, it actually kind of looks like that rain might have halted a bit on us here, huh? If it is, it's real light. So we got a bit of a stall going on here, as it looks like there's actually a substitution going on here for Mid-Cities. Now back up in the air. Elizade is going to get a touch on it, but ends up in the hands of Mid-Cities. Now they're going to have a run. Torres, it was a good job there to get back and at least distract the striker from being able to get a good position. Now ball to the outside. Jose Campa able to get it. Sends over to the man who clears it. I believe that was Elizade who did that.
Now you got Lenore working there on the sideline.
Yeah, he working tough situation there. Mid-Cities FC defender adamantly coming up and saying that ball did not touch off of him. Throw in a little too far for the reach of Pedro Elizade there. And now a lot of contact as looked like Alvarado was trying to run up and send the ball into the inside. Ends up back on the back line with Torres, and Torres trying to get it forward there. Has his pass picked off with a nice little one-touch there by De La Torre. Gets it back into Cavalry possession. Alvarado trying to find somewhere to go with it. Sends to the inside, one touch. Now on the outside again is Campa. Trying to find somewhere to cross, and not able to stop it before he gets across that back line. So ball will be out on Jose Campa. Now back up into play here. Alvarado trying to find it and ends up at the feet of De La Torre. Now Torres sends it back to Mendoza. Mendoza, just a little quick kick to the outside. Ball ends up out of bounds. De La Torre saying needed to have that pass more on the inside. As Mendoza kind of put it more towards the sideline. They do say it was last touched apparently by Mid-Cities, so stays with the Cavalry here after the throw-in. De La Torre trying to find some space. And now, actually, it looks like we've got a man down on about the 40-yard line. The same young man that was down first in the game. Down around, I guess that'd be, the south side end zone. Not very good with my cardinal directions, if we're being honest. I think that's south.
I wasn't going to say anything because I'm not either.
Matter of fact, let's see.
About to pull up the compass,
That's
baby.
exactly what I'm doing.
About to pull up the compass,
Look at me, JD. Look at that. South end zone over there. How about me? You know how I determine it is I know, again, I'm originally from McKinney, so North Dallas area, and I know I go that way to get there. So that's the only thing I remember. If I know where 175 is, then I can tell a little bit. Definitely don't call me Lewis or Clark, though, you know?
Nope.
So it looks like the player there for Mid-City is going to be able to get up and walk off at his own power. We'll have a substitution for him, though. So we've seen multiple lengthy injury delays here. Now as we're back into it, Elizade going to just try and clear it down. And, oh, big contact there from behind. Sandoval goes tumbling. But it looks like no whistle going to be called, so we'll keep in play. Sanchez had it, gave over to Rodriguez. Now Rodriguez sent back up to Sanchez, who had a free run, but just wasn't quite able to catch up to the ball before the defender was able to get there. And now slide tackle there for Mid-Cities works out. They wrangle away possession. Now going to have a chance to run on a little bit on their own. Torres back there, De La Torre back there to kind of interrupt a little bit. Now Torres going to come up, make a play on the ball. Mid-City still has it. Now sends back to the outside. Good scoring chance for them as Mendoza again just kind of recklessly going to go up for the play. Works out for him that time. Now again, a lot of contact. You've actually got two Mid-Cities guys down. One on that far sideline, one back by goal way down here. So I'm going to have to take another little pause here. Now the head judge heading down towards the goal area. Player is up and walking on his own back into position. So looks like we're all good to go. Mid-City's going to be resetting us here. Ball struck way down into the goal box, and Mendoza not going to touch it. Allows it to go out of the back of the I keep wanting to say it. I'm just going to say it. Goes out of the back of the end zone there. And now Mendoza set to send it away. It's a good kick this time. Ends up right at midfield. I mean, I don't think you could have put it any more dead on midfield there. Mid-Cities is able to win possession, get it down into the corner, trying to find somewhere to cross. It was a nice play there by Torres, able to bat it out and keep it from going out of bounds. Keeps possession here for the Cavalry. Now going to cross it over. Ends up at the feet of Sanchez. Now Sanchez going to work it up the near sideline. Puts a little pepper on it. It will be tapped away there by Mid-Cities. Now they've got a free run. And that was a great job there by Alan De La Torre, able to come up and pester the shooter there, not allowing a free shot on goal. Does end up out of bounds. Last touch by the Cavs, though. So will be a Mid-Cities toss in. Cavalry going to have to condense here on their own defensive side. Toss in is high, down, and trying to get that quick kick. Good job there by De La Torre just to kind of clear it out a little bit. Didn't get as far as he wanted, but at least a little bit of breathing room. Now Sandoval going to have it here on near sideline. His little tap ends up at the feet of Mid-Cities. And that was a fancy little play there. Now Mid-Cities trying to find somewhere to go with it. One black jersey able to come between a group of Cavalry and take the ball away. Now ball high up in the air. Now Sandoval again trying to find somewhere to go. Does a good job to get rid of the ball before it's taken off of his feet. And again, Cavalry having a hard time getting it out of their own end. Done a good job of not allowing too much pressure on goals. Bicycle kick is going to end up in the net. And, yeah, that's a pretty goal. Hate to say it.
Yeah, that was a very nice shot on goal right there.
Yeah. You know, we're Cavalry people here, but sometimes if you hear me get real quiet, it might be just because, yeah, that was nasty. So
That was pretty good.
that was pretty good there. So Mid-City's going to bump their lead back up to 2 here in the 28th, ticking down to now the 27th minute. Let's see if we can find a way to disable that camera's panning too fast. I'm going to pan it as fast as I want to pan it.
I want to get back to the action over here, so you're going to allow me to do that.
That's exactly it. So, all right, Cavs have been in this position down 2. And they were able to quickly get a strike to cut down on that lead for Mid-Cities. Let's see what they have in store here. Here's Bourillon going to work it up the outside. Gave off to Sanchez. Nice little one-touch right back to Bourillon. Was trying to get it over to Lenore, but Mid-City's able to step in front. Ball ends up sailing, goes out of bounds. Last touch by Mid-City, so it'll be another toss in here for the Cavs. As Alex and those bad knees we were talking about have to jump up over the fence there. So his knees obviously aren't as bad as yours, JD. Bourillon with it here on the near sideline. Has plenty of space to work with. Now going to send over to to Sanchez on the sideline. And then now going to be tapped out of bounds. They're going to say Mid-Cities had the last touch on it. So another toss in, and it's going to end up right at Mid-Cities. But somehow Sandoval was able to come out of the pile with it, gave back over to Bourillon. His pass knocked out of bounds by Mid-City, so we'll reset the whole thing. Throw goes into the inside this time. That is number 20. This is all 21. Well, now with Elizade trying to fight a way around. I think I just missaw that 4 as a 1 somehow because I looked down. I know Mr. Raul Flores, who is number 21, I know he had that injury. So here on the near sideline, Sanchez going to have the chance to kind of walk it down here. Not a whole lot of pressure on him. Now going to send back to Elizade, and Elizade just couldn't quite handle it. Now Mid-Cities, again, going to have a bit of a run here. Find himself in a bit of a squeeze. 5 red jerseys against 2. We'll get it out to the outside, so they will have an angle to attack from. So kind of working from sideline to sideline here. Now I'm going to try and move up. Going to be knocked away there. Nice play. Kind of get it away. Alvarado playing some good defense. Ball ends up, as you see, all the way back with the keeper. And keeper going to be happy to kind of run it to the sidelines, kind of drain the clock a bit, if you would. Sandoval right there waiting for any possible mistake. That's why we call him the shark. He's always back there kind of sharking those waters. Now Sanchez has it. Went for the bend in. Now trying to work his way around.
What a move.
Yeah, great move. Ends up getting the defender to grab his jersey. And Sanchez is furious. I mean, that was pretty plain as the jersey kind of went
right there.
Yeah, jersey went flying back behind Sanchez. I mean, it was a pretty obvious tug, but just missed there. So it's a good chance there for the Cavs, but not able to capitalize. I'm going to have to go back to work here. This ball is going to be sent high in the air. Alvarado put it back up in the air, up the header there. De La Torre going to have to range over to make the play. His pass was intercepted. Now he's just going to kick it out of bounds and make Mid-Cities rethink their approach. So we throwing in right there between the 10 and 15 yard line on that far outside. Toss in is going to be won by the Cavalry. Great job there by Borjan, but Mid-City's able to wrestle it away there in the end. Pass doesn't work out there for the men in black. Ends up going off the pitch, off the back. So Mendoza goes back, collects, and he'll restart things with the kick here. Let's see if they decide to play it short or deep. Kind of had a combination of both today. At least at the moment, he's setting up to send it deep. That's what he does. Sandoval ranges over and ends up with the man on his back. No call. Mid-City's going to win the scrum. Have the numbers, and with a better pass, that could have been a whole lot of trouble. Pass was way too far on the outside there, or led too far, if you will.
Boy, they're really making Mendoza get his workout in today.
Yeah, and for, again, a guy we haven't seen out there much this year, you know, he's definitely been tested here tonight. And, Borjan just kind of falls down, but able to collect himself and get back up. Gives over to Sanchez. Sanchez saw a wall of defender. Had to give back up. Now all the way back to the back line with Torres. Torres sends over to De La Torre. And De La Torre, kind of a risky play there, but is able to get off a pass. Ended up with Alvarado, who was in a bunch of traffic. Now a forward pass sent up by Sandoval. Was trying to get to Lenore. And it was just a good play there by Mid-Cities, able to come back, clear the chance. Kind of miss-hit on that. Only ends up at about midfield. Borjan missed his touch and is able to collect the ball before it goes out of bounds. So the little lack of concentration play doesn't end up hurting the Cavalry as Elizade has the ball taken away from him. Now, I put our previous interview with Pedro Elizade Corpus on our Facebook page. Just, getting everybody ready for tonight. And I got to, I tagged him in it, and so I just happened to look on his Facebook profile, and his profile picture is him standing in football pads. So I got to thinking about it, and so I know he is a guy from Grand Saline, either is about to graduate or just graduated. I'm not sure when their graduation date is, but he's a senior over there at Grand Saline. And apparently he was quite the football player as well, man. He played running back and linebacker. Didn't get the ball in his hands a ton as a running back. Only had like 7 or 8 carries this year. But as a linebacker was I think third on his team in tackles. Had 10 tackles for loss, a couple of sacks. I think he had a pick this year as well. And was also the team's kicker. Was I think it said 24 or 26 on extra points and 3 of 3 on field goals. So a little multi-sport athlete there is old Pedro Elizade. You forget how young these guys are when you think about it. You're like, oh yeah, he plays football too. He's still in high school. All right, toss in is going to go over to Rodriguez. Rodriguez with a nice little in and out move. And, a pass just kind of tipped away. It was a real good thought. Just doesn't work out quite the way he was hoping for it. So Mid-Cities to the back line. They're going to try and send it up forward, but just miss-hit there by the defender. It ends up well out of bounds. Where are they going to say it crossed at? They're going to say right at about that 35. So tosses in there to Jesus Hernandez. First time we've called him out tonight. He's getting a chance to go run a little bit. As we didn't mention it, it did look like Javier Lenore had a little damage done there, so he is off on the sidelines. And again, that was number 8, Jesus Hernandez, that came in to take his spot. So the ball did end up out of bounds. I'm not quite sure what the delay is here. Okay, here we go. Thrown in.
He was just taking a while going over there and grabbing it.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right, and nice play there by Torres to keep the ball out of a scoring position there for Mid-Cities. And a very nice play to come up and shark from behind there. Now, nice little run here. Sandoval trying to find somewhere to go. Going to go on the left side. Kicks over to Sanchez. Sanchez with the shot. Oh, just a little offline. Good shot, just not the right spot. He was trying to put it in that bottom 90 there on the left side of the goal. Ends up skittering just a little too far out. But if anything, that is that pressure we talk about for the Cavalry. They start getting those shots on goal, they start falling for them. So maybe this could be the beginning of a little run here for them. Let's see what happens. De La Torre having to run it down, able to get the touch and get it away. They're going to try and find somewhere to clear it at, as it was kind of dangerous there. Ball hanging out in front of the goal, but a good job to at least get it away. Mid-Cities going to have it passing around here on their second line. And still having trouble, and Cavalry are going to be able to wrestle it away. Rodriguez with it in the middle, surveying, trying to see somewhere to go, and now he's going to try and send one over to Sandoval. Sandoval just using that speed and almost able to get around, but almost looked like he came up lame there on that second step. From here, it almost kind of looked like we might have got a little bit of a twisted ankle. I saw it buckle just a bit there. And for Yael Sandoval to slow down and not continue to hard charge, there's got to be a reason. Now, Miss Brianna, the trainer, going to run out here, come check on him. And he is frustrated and in some serious pain. You saw him kind of beating on the ground there. Coming off on this near sideline here. Kind of looks frustrated about it. And it looks like his day may be done here, JD. When you're down 2 goals, you know, that's not somebody you particularly want to lose. Still hanging out on that near sideline. I didn't see who they brought in for him. Did you see anybody come in?
I didn't see.
Oh. So I think they're telling Sandoval if he's not going to be able to come back into the game. Yeah, he's taking off his jersey. There's simply because you can't. That's why you look over towards that sideline, you'll see people wearing these penny jerseys. At least that's what we called them back in the day. I don't know what y'all called them, JD, but little penny jerseys there to say that they are not a part of the game, can't be in uniform on the sideline. Becomes confusing. So Mendoza with it. Gets over to the sideline here to Borjan. Oh, nice move there by Borjan. I don't know if that was planned, but it worked out really nicely for him. No, I am seeing number 21 over there. I thought that Raul Flores was the young man that got hurt, but I guess I was incorrect on that. I apologize. But he is down there in uniform. Now Mid-Cities going to go on their own attack. 2-on-3 opportunity here. Trying to get it inside, and Mendoza crashes up, able to get on top of the ball, stop the try. But he's got a couple of black jerseys surrounding him, just has to bowl it out. De La Torre trying to find somewhere to go with it. Gets up to the next line. Little run here, and heavy contact. And down there, I believe that was Flores taking the contact. Another throw in coming here. Oh, no, excuse me. Free kick coming. I apologize. Sent high in the air. And, oh, man. Heavy contact there between Sanchez and the defender. Both of them pop up instantly, but it almost looked like Sanchez going for the header there. Just put a forehead straight into the Mid-Cities defender chest there. Again, bodies been piling up on the ground all night. Good step up there in defense by De La Torre. We've seen him do that quite a few times tonight. He's got those long legs, able to just kind of stick one in there and break up the play. Now Cavalry trying to go back on the offensive end. Borjan has the ball kicked away from him. And they're going to say actually last touched by Borjan.
Yeah, he just kind of lost it there as he was looking to go for his second move on that one.
So almost down to the 10th minute here, 11 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in regulation. So not a ton of time left here. We'll have a little bit of stoppage time as well. De La Torre with it back. Has to kick down to Mendoza. Mendoza, risky pass across the face of a Mid-Cities player there, but all works out. Now onto the inside with Sanchez. Sanchez gives over to, it was Torres, kind of sent it up. Now ball bouncing around. Ends up out of bounds. So Torres on that first touch there ends up tapping it out of bounds. I had to double check and make sure I wasn't wrong. So yeah, it looks like Torres, that's kind of part of this movement here, is he was moved off of that back line and moved up to the second line. And it looks like you've actually got number 19, Orlando Ruiz, back there filling in on the defense. So Elizade sends up. Rodriguez somehow able to keep it in Cavalry possession. Ball ends up out of bounds there on the near sideline. Last touch by Mid-Cities. Borjan has it, tosses in. Again, nice little dump over from Rodriguez. Accurate passing here with the last couple of touches. Now into the inside. Mid-Cities able to knock it away. It's going to go back towards the outside and out of bounds. Going to say last touch by Mid-Cities. Quick toss in. And Mid-Cities going to be there to defend it. So here is Ruiz with it in the middle of the field. Sends over to Borjan. Borjan up to Pedro Elizade. Right back to Borjan. Now back to the back line with Ruiz. Ruiz gives the De La Torre. And I think De La Torre was thinking about sending it deep, and now is going to be able to make a move, get past the first line, but then loses it. Now this is a not great chance, or well, it ends up working out okay. There for a minute it was 2-on-1. Ruiz was going to have to just kind of play the monkey in the middle, but his team able to get back in time Mendoza picked it up, bowled it over to Elizade. Elizade now going to put a chip shot up. Couldn't get it over the head of the defender there. So Mid-City's really just kind of happy to play this game a keep away with that 2-goal lead, 3-1 in the 8-minute mark now. 8 minutes, 20 seconds to be exact. So again, Mid-City's just happy to hold on to it here. If you wanted to compare it to another sport, I guess you'd call this like four corners in basketball, you know?
Yes, sir. Just playing a little game keep away.
Which, just another sports thing here. Oh, Rodriguez just kind of picking up and moving the defender there. But, yeah, I assume if you're here, you're a sports person, you know what I mean? So high school basketball, JD, is actually UIL has taken a serious look at adding the shot clock into high school basketball. I think that'd be pretty cool, personally. Only problem is I know one person in the area probably wouldn't love it. I know Coach Carter is a fan of slow-paced basketball when the time calls for it. Mendoza going to be able to scoop that one up off the turf. A little worm burner. The bowl was kind of dangerous, but somehow Elizade able to end up with it. Now Borjan on the run trying to use his speed, and hey, gets through the they're going to say Borjan grabs onto the defender and pulls him back to get the positioning. So offensive foul here. It was a lot of contact. We've seen quite a few plays that looked similar to that tonight that haven't got called, so I didn't quite see what the egregious part of that was that made the call definite. Now here's another thing you don't see all the time. Goalkeeper hanging out about 25 yards diagonally from his goal. I'm going to send it up in the air. Borjan going to win the possession, gives up to Elizade. Elizade trying to find somewhere to go, gives to Torres. Torres working against just too many jerseys there. Nowhere to get the ball to, and he was absolutely surrounded. Now, one touch does not work out. It's a nice play there by Ruiz just to kind of bat the ball out of bounds, avoid another scoring chance there for Mid-Cities. Down into the 5th minute now. So they're going to have to find a couple of goals here quickly, are the Cavalry. Not sure if that was supposed to be a shot or a pass or just a time waster there.
I think
for Mid-Cities.
I think the latter is probably the one.
I think that's probably a fair assumption. As the ball was kicked to hyperbolous here, but about the softball field.
Yeah.
I think that's where he was aiming at. So Mendoza sends it high up in the air. Torres able to kind of nudge it in the direction of his own team. Big scrum here, and another body goes flying as Flores got taken out of the legs and just kind of was up in the air, 90 degrees. Now chance as Torres just sends one a little too far for Pedro Elizade. Elizade was on the run there with just a little too far of a lead. So the ball ends up well out of bounds again. And again, Mid-Cities just kind of not in much of a rush to do anything.
No, I mean, that ball didn't even go out of the building, and he decides to just come back and grab this other one here after he already made the walk all the way out there. So they are doing everything they can to just waste time here.
Chess meet checkers. All right, so here's another long bomb. This one actually one of the shorter ones we've seen today, but Mid-City's still going to be able to – nope. Looked like they were going to come out of the scrum with it. ball is sent out of bounds. Believe that was last touched by Bourillon. And again, Mid-City. Oh, no. We got a substitution. It looks like Alan De La Torre. Come off here for the last few minutes. You send somebody else out. Can't quite tell you yet.
As soon as we see the back of the jersey, we'll let you know.
So Mid-City's working it on this inside sideline. Trying to find somewhere to go with it. Now going to cross to the inside and again, kind of a dangerous area for Mendoza to be abandoned in front of the goal, but does work out again this time for him. Sanchez sends it over to the outside and long run there, just not quite able to get enough mustard. Was Hernandez is now going to be 2 balls thrown in at the same time.
Got a little double throw in right there.
Alvarado and Hernandez both throwing a ball in there. Now Alvarado going to get his chance to throw one in. Torres with it and has the ball knocked out of bounds. Still trying to look for the number I haven't seen yet for that young man that came in. I thought I might have saw number 35. That would be Ernesto Tovar. Or Tovar, excuse me. But not 1,000. Not 1,000. So it looks like Mid-Cities is going to have a chance to restart us again here. Down to about 1:30 left on the regulation clock. So with that and the stoppage time, you figure you got about 5 minutes here to try and put up 2 goals. Won't say impossible, but definitely got to get on your horse and start going now. Was able to finally see over there. Believe it or not, my eyes were right for once, JD. That is Ernesto Tovar, number 35.
Look at you.
That came in to take De La Torre's spot.
We got yet another Mid-Cities player down on the ground there. So going to take a little bit to attend to him.
Well, that'll give us time to talk about how cool that name is. Let's be honest. that is a pretty sweet name you got there, kid. Ernesto Tovar. That just sounds like somebody you want to know. You know what I mean? What were you doing this weekend? I was hanging out with Ernesto. Ernesto Tovar? Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
that
you
one.
see?
That one.
It sounds pretty dadgum spiffy, doesn't it? So 30 seconds left in regulation when we get it kicked back off. So going to have just a few ticks and a little bit of stoppage time to work with. As Mendoza has to go chase the ball down. It looks like maybe the officials didn't give the starting whistle, so they're going to have to redo this here. So ball goes deep into the corner as we are officially out of regulation here and just into stoppage. Another shot on goal. Mendoza didn't get it cleanly the first time, but able to pick it up regardless. Bourillon able to scoop it away there from Mid-City's defender. Now working it around here, Rodriguez trying to find an angle, gives back to Ruiz. Ruiz right back to Rodriguez. Now he's going to just send one deep. Pedro trying to get over to it and just a little too far inside. Had a defender right on him as well, so was not able to bend his path inside to get to the ball. Mid-City's just kind of clear one down here. Mendoza shoots it up towards midfield. Taken away by Rodriguez. Rodriguez again going to wind up. Sends one. Elizade has a chance. And shot on goal just a little soft. I think it was trying to poke it up over the head of the goalkeeper there, as the goalkeeper had already committed to saving it low, but just not able to get enough of a toe underneath of it to send it high enough there for Elizade.
I think he might have also been definitely feeling that pressure coming in really quick from behind him there.
Absolutely. Ball does end up out of the back of the field there, so it will be a corner kick. So at least an opportunity here for maybe a feel-good goal for the Cavalry. Crosses in, bounces around, and Mid-City's going to be able to clear it out. Ends up all the way at midfield. Tovar going to have to range over. Alvarado wrestles it away. And again, just kind of put it up in the air. Ball ends up out of bounds. Last touch by Mid-Cities. So again, maybe one more good chance to try and go down and make something happen here for the Cavalry. Mid-Cities is able to wrangle it away, go down the sideline, cross back into the middle. And it looks like they're just going to kind of call off the dogs here and just stay in a good attacking position, but not really look to do much with it. So unfortunately, the Cavalry going to drop their second consecutive home game, will drop their record to 4-3 for the year. Mid-Cities is going to come up a little bit. Record will be closer to 500 now. They'll get their third win of the year, be 3-4 overall. Might even, let me see if I can get this to come up. Let's see, yeah, depending on what happens with the threat football team, might be able to climb in a position here and climb into that final playoff spot, depending on the way things go down. I'm not going to pretend to know the ins and outs exactly of what's going on between those two teams jockeying. I can just tell you that it, unfortunately, again, will go down as a loss for your Cavalry, but it will not affect their playoff positioning for now. Still will be a full game ahead of Mid-Cities. It looks like Mid-Cities does have another guy down over there on the far sideline.
Yeah, starting to sound like a broken record on the day with that one, huh?
Yeah. Just kind of eating up what's remaining of this stoppage time as well. I honestly thought we'd be done by now. They don't normally add too much stoppage time here in these UPSL games. And matter of fact, it looks like that was all of it. So that is the way it's going to – oh, no.
No, that was a yellow card brought out right there.
I heard the whistle and just assumed it was the end of the game, but as you said, no.
Well, my football eyes, they saw yellow on the field, and I was like, hey, I know that.
Yeah, at least we got color consistency. Yeah, I never even thought about that, huh? So Alvarado's the one that took the free kick there, bounces back to about where he was, and then a left-footed kick by the Ruiz ends up well to the right of the goal and out of bounds. So it's Torres having to make that long run over. Are they going to say, yeah, I guess they are going to say it clanked off of a Mid-Cities player. Now the corner kick coming up here for the Cavalry. Going to be Torres with the honors. Crosses up and, it was a
man,
big try there.
Valiant effort, I'd call that.
Yeah, Elizade trying that bicycle kick, and, man, it looked really good until it didn't. But, again, young player out there, man, just a senior in high school, about to graduate or just recently graduated. Again, don't know Grand Celine's graduation schedule. So, ball ends up in the stands here. Borjan going to be able to, young fan, going to come over and help him out. Borjan was just getting ready to jump the fence, and a young man came out of nowhere. Throw in here for him, ends up also out of bounds. Now, Pedro is a heck of a player, but we've got to call a spade a spade. Pedro is not the tallest young man out there, so might not be the guy to try and loft a header up to there, you know. And going to be cleared there by Mid-Cities. And now the final whistle does blow, and that is the way it's going to end. So 3-1, Mid-Cities FC takes out your Henderson Cavalry here on kind of a wet, soggy, nasty day. It kind of fits the mood here, unfortunately, as your Cavalry, for the first time in franchise history, will go down in back-to-back games, JD.
Man, that's a – hey, considering it's a new franchise, that's not a terrible thing. I mean, of course, you never want to have that happen to you in the first place, but not terrible.
Absolutely. 7 games in, I'll take it. Again, 4-3 now the record for your Cavalry. Again, they're still going to be in position to be in the playoffs, but going to definitely have to pick it up over the final 3 games of the season to keep that playoff position in tow. So, again, you've got 3 more games left here in the regular season. We've only got 1 more home game, and it's the final game of the year. I can't think of the date off the top of my mind, but I can tell you it's exactly, 3 weeks from today, right? Yeah, it's 2 games
Something
on
like
the road, and then so 3 weeks from today, we'll be right back here in the same spot to end off the season for your Henderson Cavalry, at least the regular season for your Henderson Cavalry. So, all right, so again, for everybody here at Cedar Creek Media, I'm Taylor Honea.
I'm J.D. Byrd.
We are everybody at Cedar Creek Media. I don't say why I said for everybody, but Cavalry go down 3-1. We'll talk to you next time, and thank you for being here.